All right, hey guys, I'm going to give you a quick note before you watch the actual video of me shooting the storage locker. And I wanted to make sure you stuck around to the end where I'm going to discuss, will I continue to do storage lockers? A couple of the pitfalls that happened to me. We'll show you the receipt we got from Dave Hester and how that works. Just some insight on storage lockers in general, what I found out by buying my first locker. So that'll be at the end of the video. You'll also see that I got some stuff from another person who bought a storage locker. He's my friend Tyler, and I bought something off him. So there's other ways to make money when you're at these storage lockers and that kind of thing, and it's kind of interesting how that works. So you can make money all kinds of ways. So watch the whole video, and we'll discuss all of that at the end. And one real quick thing, you're going to see something in here where we show the guy's name basically, and some documents that he had. All those documents do go back to the storage locker facility. So before you watch it and you start saying, hey, you should do something with that, yes, we do. We give all files, personal files, go back to the storage facility. So keep that in mind when you're watching the video, and we'll be back and we'll talk about at the end about what I'm going to do in the future with storage lockers. Hey everybody, Mike, and it's the Golden State Picker again, and we're waiting for the auction to begin. This is an interesting one. It's run by Dave Hester of Storage Wars fame, and you'll see the picture of him and me. I took a picture with him. Don't think we can shoot any video inside. That's one thing I'm not positive I can do, but it's going to be interesting. This is my first storage locker auction, so I'm excited to just kind of get a feel for it and see what it's about. And we'll talk about it at the end and see if I buy anything, which I brought money. There's a lot of players here that I recognize from like the flea market and some other places. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work and what they're doing and how they're buying and what this stuff goes for. So it's going to be very interesting, and we should have some fun. So I'll go inside, and if I can shoot video, I will. If not, we will talk about it. All right, guys, here's my first locker I ever bought. We paid $50 for this locker. The thing that caught my eye was the bike, but it's pretty well stacked, a little dark. So we're gonna get in here and take a look around and show you what maybe is good. Let's take a look. All right, guys, this is day 2. We're back because we just kind of took a cursory look the first day, and this is just craziness. This guy, it's just amazing. This is an 8x8 storage unit like we talked about, and he kept everything. Personal letters down here. It's literally stacked full of this kind of stuff. There's the bike. So the bike is $50, let's call it. There's my money back. All these crates were in here. These are going to go over to Savers. Just personal papers. We took one cart full you saw of books that we're going to take to Savers. And the rest of this is garbage. So we've got at least probably 2 trips of garbage and maybe another trip to Savers if we can figure that out. The guy, I talked to the manager on this, and this unit, they were paying $200 a month for this. $200 a month. And went into arrears. And this is what happens. This is just not good. This is what, I don't know why people store stuff like this. This is, that's an issue. It's hard for us to get rid of stuff, right? Hard for us to get rid of our items. And this is basically all I got. If you take a look over here, I'm looking at a few things. I've got a few other things too. There's some things in the bottom. There's an army jacket, some old school shirts. In here is a VCR. What else is down in here? Oh, there's an old Bible. Again, some shirts. There's a wallet. An old army jacket, don't know. And then there's a few other little things. Cribbage board. Just, again, this is not, a winner. I looked at this one. I haven't looked at that book yet. Some vintage old shoes. I got 2 pair of those. Not Fila and Reebok, so that's pretty cool. And again, down at the bottom here, old stapler, another leather wallet. Here's a E6 flight computer so far. And then an old Pendleton, which is worth some money. An old red Pendleton wool, so that's pretty cool. that's it. So far, that's all I've got. I'm not going to get a whole lot more out of here. Again, this is clearly my first locker and the first experience, and we'll go over it again more in person and talk about my feelings about it and what I think. And we'll go. Anyhow, I gotta just talk. I feel like this is like Storage Wars nightmare. Is like your first one, and this is what you come up with, right? The best you can do is guess. You just don't know. And there's a VCR. Look, I got this. There's a VCR. The box is up there. There's money in this. It's just, is it gonna be worth it? But hey, this is what you gotta do as a picker. You gotta try things. You gotta do something different, and occasionally you gotta learn. And this is what it is. It's my first one. I gotta learn. And as we go along, we'll pull stuff out. And like a couple folding tables. There's one there, and there's actually another one there. So Facebook, that kind of thing, those should sell. $50. I want to make money. I'll make money. It's just gonna make money the hard way. All right, guys. Hey, this is the guy's locker, Peter Room, and he's got a Bachelor of Business from Temple, and then University of Southern California. He had a Master of Science, and at the very end, it looks like he was working at Target Guest Relations. I don't know. All I know is Peter collected files. We got files and files and files, right? Books, just we gotta, it's still, this is it. We've already made 2 saver runs, and we are still, what are we doing, Josh? Are we still doing it?
Crap out.
Oh my gosh, this is the stuff generally we're keeping. We have to go through this. We did find a really cool Nikon lens. Wasn't worth a ton, probably about $75. We got the bike and some old military uniforms, and we have no clue. Oh, so this is our first foray into it, but there you go. Peter looks like he was an educated guy, but then he ended up working at Target Guest Relations. All right, guys, here it is. End of the whole thing. And this is what we got, some garbage here, and we leave the locker empty. This was once full, so you saw the beginning. You gotta leave it empty, and you gotta clean it. You can't just leave trash in it. That's where we go. We're going, Josh? Are we done?
We're done.
We're done?
Peter the Hoarder's done.
We're done with the hoarder, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute. And that's it, guys. It's all jammed in. The end of my first storage locker. This is all garbage, and it has to be dumped. And we'll go from there, and we'll talk about the successes and the failures of this particular locker in a bit. We're at my friend Tyler. We happened to run into him as we were leaving, and I bought this Mr. Christmas carousel for $20, and we're just gonna hang around and see what he's got, maybe help him out and buy a few things, right, Tyler?
Yeah.
We'll see. This is Tyler's locker. Look at that beautiful mattress set. Look at that beautiful mattress set.
You want to take it out?
So you want to be a storage locker person? Look at that. I'm with my friend Tyler and looking at his storage locker. He's got some friends. Some job at a supermarket. All right, guys. Hey, we were just up there with my friend Tyler. Happened to run into him before we left, and he had a bunch of Jim Shore stuff. Josh is holding a bunch of it right here. You got a bunch?
Yeah.
And then we got all this Jim Shore over here, a bunch of Jim Shore, and Mr. Christmas carousel, some more Jim Shore. We paid $175 for Tyler to get rid of this, and then we're going to sell it. So we got $175 worth of Jim Shore, and we'll check it out. We'll let you know. All right, guys, here's a few things we found in the locker. There's a computer. It's like a flight computer, simple thing. That thing is about $40 right there. This is a Nikon strap. That is about $10, $11. A nice little wallet, about $20. These two guys sold for $36 total. So I almost got my money back right here. These two did sell right away. Some kind of a little wooden game called 21 Pocket Elements. There's that. A 6 outlet pack of 3. A vintage cribbage board. And then there's the tennis shoes. I got 4 boxes. They're all brand new. 4 boxes of tennis shoes. And hey, we cannot forget about getting vintage socks. Made in USA. These are going to get about $60 right here, about $60. A pair of Van Heusen 17-inch collar shirts. These here, I think I'm going to get about just $20. A Pyrex set, brand new Pyrex set. I think about 35 maybe if I'm lucky there. And then this is the Nikon lens. I don't know if I have it in here. It's a Nikon lens. Let's see if I can pull it open. Nice lens in a case. And not a bunch, but still, I think with this about 75 on this particular thing. And I will cut and show you a few more things in a second. But this stuff here I already listed, so you can remember my rule here, my death pile. This is already up. So very quick, easy, and up. All right, two other things we found. One more leather wallet, and this was the nicer find. A Nikon FE, really good shape. You saw the Nikon lens, and we did find the camera, and this is a Nikon FE. Excellent shape, $75 to $100 on the camera, and the wallet, maybe 20 bucks. So let's call this 100 here for this too. So two nice little finds that we found going back. All right, guys, hey, here are a few other things that I found, mostly clothing, but he was in the military, and we got some heavy-duty jackets here that I think I got 3. I'm only showing you 2, but they're heavy-duty military jackets. Those, I don't know what I'll get, but let's say we get 35 each. Here was a really nice London fog. It is zipper lined, so you can take out the lining. Again, this would be hard to sell right now because of the summer's upon us, but this will probably get, say $40. So there's 35, 40. Call it 100 just for kicks and giggles there, 100. Over here, a really nice Pendleton shirt in real good shape, vintage, virgin wool. This is probably about $30. And right here, this is a Field and Stream, and I liked it. It's made in the USA, Field and Stream. This one too, I think we'll probably get $25 or $30 for that. And then this is old, it's not a derby. If you really get the good ones, the derby jackets are cool here. And this is by Peters, and it's lined, and a nice jacket. Definitely $30 to $40 there for that. And I might be undervaluing some of these, but I just don't know right away. So several army pants. This is a nice heavy, these are in really good shape, and these should sell. These are actually what do they say on it? Let's take a look if I can get it open here, not have a problem. Trousers, shell, field, so they all have numbers inside of them. Let's call this another $35. There you go, 35. How about this? You only had one pair. Wish you had more. Sometimes you can find jeans, and this is a orange tag set of Levi's, 38 by 30, good size. And they're like brand new. They're really good. So they're about 25, 30 bucks for that right now. So you got that. There's a Sony clock radio. And then here was the VCR. This, no laptop, but it's a Sharp VCR, and that's about 50. The radio's about 30. So you can see there's value here, and I've got some more military stuff that I have to deal with. Now, I am not a clothing guy, so this is not right up my alley, but I will sell it, get it up, and make money off of it. So there you go. That's what we found pretty much in my first storage locker. All right, hey everybody, we're back to talk about the storage locker and my experience buying my first storage locker. Not the most glamorous thing, was it? It was not glamorous. It was a lot of work. I will be straight up with you. You watch these TV shows and you see them pull this stuff out and you're going, wow, that looks cool. And then off they go to the store or wherever to get their item appraised. And you're going, hey, that looks like a lot of fun. Let me tell you, it's not quite like that, but it still is an experience that maybe if you're a reseller that you might want to experience, okay? And I'm going to give you a couple tips that I have that maybe I made mistakes on to maybe help you in the future, all right? First off, I was turned on to this particular auction by my friend Tyler. You heard me talk to Tyler in the video. He managed to buy 4 lockers, 2 at each location. There were 2 locations that day. One was in Santa Clara and the other was in Redwood City. And Redwood City is about 35-40 minutes from where I live, basically. So we started at the Santa Clara facility at 10, and then we moved and they had an auction at 1 o'clock in Redwood City. So we had 2 different auctions by Dave Hester's auction company. And it was very neat to meet Dave. Dave was very cool. He's a very nice man, very nice. He does not portray like, obviously, on TV. And we know why, because they make him out to be the villain. And he plays up the yup. You saw me get the yup hat. I got it signed, all that kind of stuff. He doesn't drive the yup van anymore. The van doesn't have the word yup on it. He told us that, hey, when you have that on there, quite a few people follow you off of exits and end up in the same bathroom as you. So he took that down, and he just drives a big, it was a gray one, not the black one. And that's what he drives. And he was very nice, and he asked who was new and that kind of thing. And he gave us some just advice, just the typical tips of, hey, be wary of what you're buying, that kind of stuff. And it was very, very interesting to talk to him. We didn't talk to him a whole lot. You hate to kind of intrude in somebody's life like that. He's heard every question, everything, and it probably drives him crazy. So you just kind of introduce yourself and chit chat as you're going along. And he is helpful. That's what was really, really, really fascinating. Was he was definitely very helpful to us all. All right. So first off, I'll show you the receipt. Here's the receipt, and I bought 1. I went with the idea of not buying any, but I had cash in my pocket. I did not have much. I think I had $800 is all I had in my pocket. That also helped me prevent me from potentially getting into a big situation, right? So I brought minimal money on this first locker hunt. And the first auction at 10 a.m., I bought nothing, okay? And I still was planning on buying nothing. I wanted to see how it worked. My friend Tyler got 1 locker for $1, 1 locker, I think, for $75, and 1 locker for $150. Okay, so he managed to get 3. Yeah, he got 1 for $1, but the $1 locker was pretty much a waste of time. The other 2 lockers, he found an amplifier that goes for about $1,300, and that was about all there. So he didn't make a big score on those 3 particular lockers, but that amplifier will help him get all his money back at the Santa Clara one. So we headed up to Redwood City. There were 10 or 12 lockers there that they auctioned off. You saw them cutting the lock on my particular locker because that's the one that I bid on. And I was surprised when that locker opened. You saw it. And I thought, well, the bike's in there, so there's $50. So I gave a $50 bid. To my surprise, nobody else bid on it. And now you're probably saying, yeah, they were smart. They were smart. So I got the locker, and I'm like looking around at myself, and I'm going, oh, what did I just do? It was 8 by 8, okay? And I paid $50 for it. So I did pay $50. I'm going to show you the receipt. This is what you get when you're all done. You get obviously a receipt, and it's from Dave Hester. So there it is. That's Dave Hester's receipt. And you pay $50 for the locker. You do have to pay sales tax if you don't have a reseller's license, which I don't, so I had to pay sales tax, and a deposit, $80. Depends on the size of the unit. It can go up to about $100 for the bigger units. That's a cleaning deposit. That means if you don't take everything out of that locker, you lose your $80 deposit. So when you're all done, like you saw it was clean, I bring the manager up or the person up the front, and they give me my $80 back. Now, if you don't, and you leave it completely trashed, full of trash, and walk away, you can get blacklisted. That means when you sign in, you have to sign your name and everything and what locker it is. The next time an auction comes around, they're going to say you're not welcome here because you didn't clean your locker out. So you've got to clean your lockers out. And that's the hard part. The hard part is, where do you get rid of all this stuff, right? So you've got to think about this. My biggest mistakes were, number one is, it's a simple one, is I didn't have a lock. You've got to bring your own lock, and wasn't thinking. When I first saw this one guy there, he had like a whole chain of like 10 or 12 locks, because he doesn't know if he's going to buy 1 or 10. And I thought, what do we do? And they obviously sell locks at the front. So we did purchase a lock. I purchased one, $13. Tyler had to buy 4. So he paid another basically $50 on top of everything because he had to buy 4 locks. And I only had to buy 1 because you got to lock your locker up. Now, some things that you don't see on the TV show. It seems like, hey, all of a sudden, boom, they're off and they go to their, they've got something they want to see what the value is and they're gone and off they go. They have to clear the locker and they have so much time. It's not like they do have just 1 day. At least from what Dave told us, there is time involved according to size of locker. Small lockers, you have 1 day. Bigger lockers, 3 to 5 days. And it depends. You kind of can negotiate it a little bit. And if you saw my receipt, clear okay by 5/21. So I bought it on 5/18. They gave me 3 days. They gave me 3 days to clear out that particular locker. I needed it because I was about 35, 40 minutes away. That's the other thing. I wish I had bought, my locker was in Santa Clara. Then I'm like 10, 15 minutes away. So drive time, you're thinking about drive time and fuel costs nowadays, right? So that's an expense too. I ended up making, I believe by the time it was all said and done, 4 trips total up and back. So that was time and fuel. I have to add all of that together. And I'm in California and we're near, I pay about $5.75 a gallon. I go to the cheapest gas station. I happen to have one very close to me. So I don't pay $6.50 or $7, but I'm still paying pretty close to $6 a gallon. All right, so you got the time allowed. They let you clean it up. The lock, you gotta have a lock. So make sure you bring 3 or 4 because you just don't know. Always carry them. So here's the lock. I just have a very simple lock. All right, the distance and also the vehicle. So here was another issue with Tyler. Tyler doesn't really have a car, so he was working with another guy, and they were going to split some lockers, and it got a little bit squirrely. And Tyler's had to cobble together a truck and some friends, and it's cost him some extra money. You got to have the proper vehicle, which is a truck or a big SUV or something that you can haul this stuff away. Okay, now another key thing here is you can take a lot of your stuff to like Goodwill or Savers. And there was a Savers literally about 2 to 3 minutes away from the storage locker. So I made 3 trips to Savers. That was a real big help. And then I made the 4 trips that were garbage. And you're gonna say, what did I do with my garbage? I have somebody who allows me to dump that. Okay, I was lucky. Okay, I have a friend who allowed me to do that. And that's how I did that. Okay, but personally, it's tough if you gotta go to the dump. Dump fees here, about $150 a truckload, I think, is about fair average. What is, hey, if you're in another area, what would a dump load cost in other areas? I'm kind of curious. But here, about $150. So you got to think about all of this stuff that's going on, right? Dump fees and all that kind of stuff. The other thing you gotta think about is storage at home. So, Tyler lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. He doesn't have a lot of space. So, he has some other issues to deal with. I'm tight for space. I was thinking, man, I got to make sure I can only handle what I can handle. And you know how I work, right? I get stuff up right away and all that kind of stuff. So you got to keep that in mind also. So there's all these things you got to keep in mind. Yeah, you get a locker for $50 or $1 or whatever, but many times, hey, you got other problems behind it. Now, really quick, hopefully really quick, you can try and maybe sell it to other resellers or people who are there. That's what Tyler did with me. I bought some of his Jim Shore. I bought all that Jim Shore off of him, helped him get rid of that. It's a hassle for him. He has to ship it, put it up, list it. So, hey, a quick purchase, I'm willing to take that on, and you can do that, right? I've thought of other ways. I thought of something really cool. What I've seen is the big fish, the players were there. I knew who they were. I knew all of the guys pretty much that were flea market guys. And those guys would basically take their stuff directly the next day to the flea market and sell it at the flea market. So kind of interesting way to concept. They got a big box van. They throw in everything, put it all on the ground, sell it all, sell as much as they can. The rest, they either take it to the dump or sell it to another person out at the flea market. So there's many ways to make this work. You just have to be creative. And, that's probably not up my alley there, but that's a good way of doing it. If you get a storage locker on Wednesday and you can take it to the flea market on Thursday, then do it. You get one on Thursday, take it on Friday. Friday, take it on Saturday. an interesting way to do that. Okay. All right. Now the big question here is, I'll give you another story here real quick. There was a storage locker bought in the Redwood City. Dave Hester auctioned it off. He was discussing it with everybody that it was a musical instrument locker, and it sold last time he was here for $4,500. The gentleman who bought it in turn flipped it to a music guy. Didn't even have to empty the locker. The music guy did, for $17,000. So this guy had a network. Remember we talked about networking? He had a network of a guy who has musical interest, a store or whatever. That guy came down, looked at it, said, I'll give you $17,000. And he sold that locker. So that comes back to, what am I going to do in the future? All right, I'm still going to go to storage auctions. I'm going to go to Dave's because I liked Dave's. It really seemed cool. I'm not going to go to too many of them, but I'm going to look for bigger lockers, meaning when you look at it, you go, okay, there's really good value there. It opens up and it's like the light goes off and you know that this is a pretty good locker, like the musical instrument one, etc. So that's what I plan on doing. I plan on taking more cash to these auctions and looking for the big hitter. I'm not going to deal too much with the small ones, hopefully, but for sure I'm going to be patient and look for the bigger lockers. That's my goal on the storage locker thing. Hopefully I gave you a few pointers here. I'm going over all this stuff. Yeah, okay. It was fun. It's a learning experience. I took it as a learning experience. It took me about, let's say, 2 days to kind of get it all taken care of. And you saw what I got. Was it worth it? I'm going to make money. This particular locker, I'm writing it off as completely a learning experience. All right, guys, hopefully I gave you a few tips and you learned something here on that. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.